Successful trading requires emotional intelligence. Recognizing your emotional patterns is crucial to making wise decisions. Hey there, Tom here from Fibonacci-Traders.com here with the daily market recap. Please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends. Let's see the charts. With Wednesday red decision and Thursday earnings coming up for Apple, market doji off the 416 indecision, so we need to wait to see where price will take us. 416 still a very tough resistance, as we can see during February, April, and now once again resistance. Are we going to retrace back to the 410 together with this red trend line as support, or continuation to the upside? Then we have 418, 421 to close this gap over here. QQQ, same story. Doji above the 322, but indecision on the Qs. AMD coming up tomorrow after the close. Retracement, we have 318, 315, and don't forget we have a gap on the Qs over here at the 308 together with this red trend line, or continuation to the upside towards the 327 together with this red trend line over here, because we know trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. This lower red trend line, as you can see, holding the lower lows, and this red trend line helps us to identify the higher highs since October of 2022. So with high probability continuation to the upside, this red trend line will act as resistance once again. IWM still moving sideways. Doji indecision, nothing special on the IWM. Short below the 170, long above this red trend line. I prefer also above the 180. And as you can see, all we need is follow price, use trend lines to manage our risk. Not even Fibonacci, not even volume. We all can look left and see where price came from and why price is here now. Our only problem as traders is where price might be headed next. Trend lines are the true support resistance price action, but they are also the roadmap to price action's future. Dow Jones, Doji, looks like it's going to retest this red trend line as support. Below this red trend line, 335 to the downside is next. Bitcoin, perfect example for why trend lines are the true support resistance for price action and the roadmap to the future. If you want to know where price might be headed next with high probability, learn the true relationship between price action, aka candlestick analysis, and trend lines. It's working on cryptos, it's working on stocks, it's working on forex, and basically on any kind of security that you want to trade, on any time frame, because candles are candles and trend lines are trend lines. This trend line holding now a support because it was very tough resistance. Now it's acting as support. Breaking to the downside, high probability, orange trend line and yellow one are next. Ethereum, 1800 needs to hold, otherwise 17, 16 and 15 to the downside, long continuation above 1930 towards 2150. Price action, Fibonacci levels and trend line. SMH, we have the upper white trend line, helps us to identify the higher highs. We have the yellow trend line, helps us to identify the lower lows. Now, looks like SMH trying to bounce back up. But don't forget, tomorrow, AMD after the close. So Wednesday, very important day for SMH. It will be after AMD earnings. It will be before the rate decision. So for now on SMH, if you're not long or short, in my opinion, needs to wait and see, follow price and use levels to manage our position and manage our risk. Oil, close this gap over here. If you saw previous videos in the past few weeks or so, we said that this gap will get filled, and it got filled last week. Now 75 needs to hold. Let's see, break above once again this yellow trend line. This yellow trend line goes all the way back to July of 2022. Now let's see, break up and above it, and then once again towards this area over here, the 83, which is a very tough resistance. Apple, Doji, Thursday after the earnings, 4:30 earnings on Apple. Continuation to the upside, 175 is next. Let's see this red trend line holding a support. Failing to do so, 162, and this gap over here will get filled. Amazon, trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. You know these trend lines because you follow me on Twitter and you are subscribed to this channel and you saw previous videos. If you did not see previous videos, so first hit a like, subscribe, share with friends, check out previous videos, check out the Fibonacci Academy playlist. 20 videos free, each video 20 minutes or less, on how to become a better trader on the technical side, and most importantly on the psychology side, the psychology behind trading. Amazon now needs to hold this trend line, otherwise Amazon is going down towards the 98 and maybe all the way back to the 95, 96 area. AMD, I would not touch it until Wednesday or Thursday. Tomorrow, earnings. We had an uptrend, retracement, 618 Fibonacci level holding. Now let's see a bounce above the 92 towards the 96 and 100 once again. Or are we going to the downside towards the 81? Let's see if we have any gaps. We have this gap over here at the 75, and we have a gap at the 64. Also here at the 70. 3 gaps to the downside on AMD. Bad reaction from the market to AMD's earnings. 80% of these 3 gaps will get filled. Meta continuing to the upside. Bulls are very strong on Meta, going towards this major gap over here. Let's clean the chart. We have 4 gaps to the downside, but we have this major massive gap at the 318. Looks like Meta is going to fill this gap. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Meta is going to fill this gap before this blue gap, or this blue gap before this big one? Let me know in the comments below. The upper gap or the lower gaps. Google, 107 holding a support. Let's see continuation above the 109 towards this red trend line, or if for some reason Google will start retracing back to the downside, we have all the levels and this trend line for future support. Broadening formation on Google. So it's very risky to trade inside broadening formation, especially when it's only started. As you can see, this is the start of this broadening formation. Very tight price range. We need to sit and see where price will take us. Long continuation above the 109, short below this red trend line. Everything you see and hear on this video is for educational purposes only. Always do your own due diligence. Never follow blindly anyone on social media, paid or free services. Always do your own due diligence. If you want to take your trading journey to the highest level, become your own indicator, stop following others, make your own decisions, take your financial freedom in your own hands, check out Fibonacci Traders program or the one-on-one live mentorship program. My promise to you, by the end of each program, you choose one, choose your own path. You will become your own indicator, and lifetime access, support, guidance, and all Discord channels. No other course or program out there is with lifetime access. Why? Because I want you to become your own indicator. Trust yourself, trust the process. Check the links in the description below. Microsoft, inside day, indecision, 303 needs to hold. Maybe testing this red trend line as support because it was a very tough resistance for the higher highs. Now might get retesting as support. Failing to hold, this gap to the downside will get filled. Continuation to the upside, we have this gap over here and the 317, and then continuation in 317 and 321. Nvidia, super strong, super bullish, breaking above the 280 after 1 month. The 280 held as a very tough resistance. Today, bulls came in strong, breaking to the upside 300, and then this red trend line to the upside, our next resistance in line. Why? This red trend line, look left. Since September of 2022, very tough resistance for the higher highs. This white trend line, lower lows, some kind of a broadening formation on Nvidia, but now long continuation after this massive break to the upside. Shopify continuing to do nothing basically since, let's say since end of March, basically jumping between the 44 and 50. This blue trend line is holding, short below, long continuation above the 50 towards this gap at the 50.3. Tesla, inside day, bulls are trying as hard as they can to avoid this gap. And we have also this gap over here. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Which gap will get filled first? This one over here at the 146, or this one here at the 178. Very interesting to know. What do you think about Tesla? To the downside, closing these two gaps, or to the upside, closing this gap and maybe all the way to this gap over here. We have Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, 164 from support, now resistance. This is why I always say Fibonacci, trend lines, and the relationship with candlestick analysis. Check the links in the description below. Become your own indicator. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends. Don't forget to check the links in the description below for more educational resources. Until the next video, stay safe.